Yo,
what the heck was that, Kyle?
I don't know what's going on there, guys.
I was gonna say it just like literally went to just black, and that was it. I think you didn't have it linked into the actual stream button or something because there's only an outro and there's not an intro. So let's just do our quick intro.
Yeah,
and let's get into it, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't hit the intro, but hey, should we do the 2-minute countdown now? What do you guys think?
No, we've been sitting here for 2 minutes.
No.
Yeah, we're good.
No. Yeah. Let's just.
That was awesome.
We messed up. We done messed up. So let's just kind of get into it a little bit more. So like that.
Let's go. All right, who's in the intro button then?
I'll do the intro button. I'll do the intro button. Okay, guys. Hey, I will say title. What's that?
Just hit that main title. Yeah, what's up?
Hit that main title. And guys, hey, Bolt Bros, let's go.
You hit the wrong one, dude. You hit the wrong one. That's the outro one.
Hey, what are we supposed to hit here, dude? That's so funny.
Yes. Well, you guys didn't ask me. Like we were trying to get into this thing so fast.
I like the music. We're dropping mad beats. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. Don't hit that one. The one that says outro. Don't hit that one for the intro.
All right, here we go. Let me hit it now.
Okay, all right.
Man,
there you go.
Hey guys,
straight up Brooks.
This is live, dude. I don't know what's happening here, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, clearly there's going to be some.
I swear this is not my first time, ladies. I swear. Yeah.
Well, we are trying a new system, so it is interesting, and I think we're uploading and moving things around. So,
well, I was going to say this though too. So, obviously, you guys might know that it was a different beat and stuff like that, So, I got some people they wanted to actually make some new songs for our intro. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we're testing this one out. We can get some other people if anyone's interested. They can 100% do make a little compilation, make a little loop or something like that for us, and we can put that on our intro and just throw it out there. Let you guys have some fun with this, and if you guys are cool with it, and then just let us, we can use it for our show. If anyone has that creative juice in them, that'd be pretty dope.
I like it. I like it.
Yep.
Well, I think we do have a special guest potentially showing up, so we'll keep you guys posted on that.
Yeah, I'm chatting with him right now. He's having some technical difficulties as well.
As all of us are. Guys.
Yeah.
You gotta love this.
Your computers are in off-season mode too.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, let's get into the free agents. I know that's kind of the conversation today. And guys, if you have questions, throw them out there. I know quite a few people are rolling in right now. So. Bull Babes, good to see you guys. Willie, good to see you. DZ, Robert, some of the usual suspects. Good to see you, folks. So, oh, nice. Here we go. And so why don't we should we introduce our special guest?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. He just showed up. So cool.
Got it. Okay,
just
perfect.
Timed in.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I couldn't talk there. By the way, slap that like button, subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed. We appreciate all the support, like always, guys. So we've been having some nice growth. Actually, Kyle's rocking one of our new hats, by the way.
Woo-hoo.
One of our new hats. Check it out.
That's right. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of mirth.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Yeah. Bolt Bros podcast. We had a little design thing that we did. We were always trying to think of, and we decided that this would be a pretty cool one for a hat for sure.
Yeah,
and, also pretty good for shirts too. Merchandising.
Both podcast. I like that, dude. Yeah, looks good. And so the hat is stitched, though, correct? The hat is stitched.
Yeah, the hat is stitched. Yeah, fully stitched.
That's so solid.
And it's a trucker's hat kind of situation.
Let me ask you a question on the shirt, because I know I'm getting mine tomorrow. On the shirts, they're Heather design shirts, so they're kind of like the colors a little bit.
Yeah, it's a Heather design, but it's not really. Well, I mean, I got like kind of like a beige kind of one. So it's not really bad at all. It's not like, because most Heather shirts will have like kind of like the black or like, multicolored speckles in there and stuff, but this one does not currently.
Oh, it doesn't do that.
So,
Okay,
but some of the other colors might. So I don't know. It all just kind of depends on which one you get. So
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. But yeah, guys, link in the description below. We did want to find a very inexpensive, kind of best quality store option. So this one has pretty good options. So we got more stuff coming out as well too. So you know, if you're interested, check it out. It's good stuff. So we'll be rocking it quite a bit here moving forward. So should we bring our special guest in now, and then we can start talking about free agents and have that conversation, because that's kind of really what it's all about.
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. Let's bring him in.
Bring him on in.
So you guys probably know this guy. He's on Twitter and he has YouTube. He is the Chargers truther. He brings in the real truth for the Chargers team, and he's got a really good show. I really like him a lot. Let's bring him in here.
All right. Hey.
What up, guys?
What's up,
man?
Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, good to have you on the pod today, man. Glad to be able to hear from you. I know you got some good topics that you've brought up on Twitter that I was pretty interested to chat about too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of my stuff mainly comes from the idea just of the need to run the ball mainly, and get physical, stop the run the ball, stop the run. And from there comes everything after that. Is that's mainly what I focus on. So
yeah, we all know it's been a struggle. And
it's
not been fun to watch us as a defensive-minded head coach. You think he's a genius to not being able to do just one side of the ball. I know Andrew's kind of had some topics about the run game and kind of what, Brandon Staley has thought about the run game, or run defense, I should say. Kind of what we do about that. Like,
his view clearly last year was like, we don't care about stopping the run, we just want to stop the pass. Because all of it, he ran light boxes the entire time. It was 4 or 5 man fronts total, right? I mean, in the NFL, they always go +6 or 6 men in the box to stop the run. And it's just interesting how clearly Brandon Staley didn't care. He's like, nah, we'll let them run the ball, we don't care, or we'll try and stop it with light boxes. And, I don't know that that's really a winning combination, but that's his go forward strategy, right? So
yeah, and also I think a big part of it also is Tom Telesco's roster construction and the type of players that he goes after. For example, when we drafted Kenneth Murray, inside linebacker, is a big position. I think it's very important. And Kenneth Murray, he's a good player and all, but when he was drafted, I kind of noticed that he wasn't too much of a big time hitter like Denzel Perryman was, even though Perryman was a little small. And I think that's kind of a presence that we're missing at the moment, a big time hitter.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and that's definitely been one thing that we definitely missed since Perryman. And Perryman, ironically, went to the Pro Bowl and got selected too. Ironically, with Kenneth Murray, we traded up to get him. And the thing about Kenneth Murray, in my opinion, I think he's very good. If you look at his Oklahoma tape, he looks really good to be able to attack the line. But based upon the transition to the NFL, we really haven't seen it. We've seen flashes sometimes, but we really haven't seen him as a big hitter.
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of a frustrating process to see him too. And now, once again, that brings up, we have to choose if we're going to pick up his 5th-year contract. That's going to be an interesting thing to see if that's going to be a possibility. So
Daniel Popper,
who knows what's going to happen with him?
I don't know. Yeah. And another thing is that him and I kind of see him and Drew Tranquill kind of similar types of linebackers, smart and agile and, more athletic and stuff, I guess. Tranquill had a great season, but again, that physicality is kind of lacking, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to bring up a point, because we were going to talk a little bit about, Andrew, if you want to bring it up and pull it up on the screen, there are free agents.
Yep.
This is kind of a small screen for all of us here to look at, but, Drew Tranquill is one of those guys that's a free agent.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in a salary cap situation right now, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, and I think maybe we should look at this list. And guys, what do you guys think in the chat as well? Put your thoughts out there, like who you think we should keep. You know, boot it, scoot it. I don't know, whatever you want to say. You know,
We're gonna go down the list and boot it.
maybe we should have the list like let's see, keep it, dump it. I don't know. Maybe we should come up with a name for it. You know, retain, whatever. You get the idea.
Or it's like cut, trade,
Oh yeah,
and keep. I guess
married one, kill one.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's a really interesting. And again, guys, if you've watched our videos recently, we've definitely done a lot of video. And I just did a video about Joey Bosa, right? And how much money he's going to cost us to keep him for next year. Man played 4 games last year, arguably could have lost us the game in the playoffs with the Jags. You know, the way he acted. But it's one of those situations where we're 20 million over the cap. We got all these players, and now we got these guys that are undrafted free agents or unrestricted free agents. Pardon, undrafted free agents, and we've got to make some tough decisions on if we're going to keep them or not, right? And so it's going to be tough, man. So, guys, what do you think in the chat? So maybe should we just go down the list and see, and then kind of make some decisions? What are your thoughts? How you want to handle this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Truther, I want you to chat about it. I'd be interested to hear your opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, you want me to just start at the top or what?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
You can talk about either which way.
Yeah.
Players that you feel would be critical and not critical to the team.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Bring on the heat, man.
Bring the heat.
Yeah, guys, if you have questions, throw them out. Go ahead and start tossing them in the chat. We'll get to them as well, too, for sure.
Well, I mean, what I think is, first of all, I think we probably should bring back Braden Fehoko, just because D-line is a really big weakness of ours. We need depth there. And, we had injuries there. Austin Johnson, I think, went out. Maybe that might be a casualty. I don't know. We'll see. But Fehoko, I think, is a good depth piece, at least as a backup. Could be a starter maybe, but maybe at least as a backup, I think I would take Fehoko. Yeah.
Great.
And I mean, that's just where my mind first goes to, just because D-line, is, to me, is a big deal. And then, another one is Pipkins. I think Pipkins did good for us, but I think we might let him walk. And even though I know a lot of people won't agree with that, my reasoning behind that is just because now we have Salyer, and I can kind of see Salyer. I liked him at tackle. Maybe he can go to right tackle and play tackle there. I know a lot of people want to put him at guard for Filer, but again, this rush offense was 30th ranked. We were at the bottom of the barrel pretty much. A lot of that does have to fall on the O-lineman, and so I think that this O-line needs to continue to be improved upon. So I don't know if we bring back Pipkins. However, he's only 26, right? And he did good, but still, I think as a backup, I would like Pipkins, but as a starter, I just think maybe we need to maybe go to the draft or put Salyer there and keep improving on that one. So I could see it go either way. Pipkins come back or not. Either way, it's kind of a toss up for me.
Yeah.
One of the guys on this list too is Kyle Van Noy. I think we have to keep him. To me, just the leadership alone, I think he's just a calm presence, right? And he did great. He did great in the second half of the season, right? I mean, think about that. I think he got 4 sacks in like the last 4 games, or maybe the last 5 games. So I think we got to bring him back. I think Chase Daniel's going to get cut. I think this is the end of the road for him. It's kind of a bummer because I do like Chase Daniel, but I just think they got to go younger. And, I think he's going to be just doing some, work with the NFL Network. I think that's kind of his future. But DeAndre Carter too, guys. I don't know. If we could sign him again for another $1.2, $1.3 million, I'd say let's go for it, man. I mean, he was good. He was good. He was the best, but he was good.
Yeah, he came in clutch, in filling in our both one wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 being completely out. So he definitely came in and filled that void.
Yeah, especially at the Falcons game when he caught a couple of 3rd and 4th down catches. That was big.
Yeah, another guy on here too. We got to sign is J.K. Scott, right? This guy absolutely solidified our game. And by the way, Larry, I think it's a really good point, right? That's the one thing that's interesting about Brandon Staley's defense in general, right?
Yep.
You need to have some butt and gut on that line to stop the run.
Yeah.
If you're going to go light boxes, you got to have some absolute mongoloids on that line, just plugging holes. And, Fajoko's that guy, but Aaron Donald, I was watching a YouTube channel with him. He was bragging that he could bench press 500 pounds. Bro, that's crazy. Yeah. That's a freaking car. Well, wait, that's a very small car, but
smart car.
Maybe a smart car, something like that. But man, 500 pounds, you joking me? That's nuts.
Yeah.
So his defense really requires that butt and gut. So you got to have those fatties on the line right there. So I would say maybe Covington could be another guy. I think he did great. I think Covington did awesome. I was very happy with him. So,
And it was interesting. I read this morning that they were talking about the rumor, or they're not going to re-sign Kyle Van Noy. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like he was a solid leader for us. I mean, it's basically the back half of the schedule for us.
Yep.
He was a huge motivator for us to be able to get that defense going, and he even stepped up pretty heavily too. Now, once again, there's that idea of that, well, you stepped up late in the season, but you didn't step up early in the season. That could have been a difference maker from a win or a loss kind of situation. And so maybe that's kind of where the Chargers' head's at, or maybe the Chargers, in my opinion, are going to be looking at somebody in the draft side of things that they need to get a little bit more aggressive in the inside linebacker end kind of position.
Or free agency, right?
Or free agency, if we even have money to even do that. So, Morgan Fox is another guy on that list that I feel you have got to throw back into the system. Number 2 in quarterback pressures on the team, had a career year in sacks.
Yeah, number 2,
he needs to come back.
Crazy. Yeah,
he needs to come back. So once again, another guy on the line there for you for Chargers Truther. You need to make sure you build that line up as much as you possibly can. I mean, we can't run the ball. We can't stop the run. And so that's 2 things that we do really need to work off and make sure we stabilize. And, my thing is that Otito Ogbonnia, when he was on the line too, I was excited to be able to see him on the line.
He was solid.
I think Tito is going to be really solid for us. Unfortunately, he blew out his patellar tendon too. Ironically, that's the second person that did that. I'm excited, and hopefully he'll be back ready to play this season for us. And that's not an easy injury to come back from.
Isn't that our season every single year? We just have these injuries, right? I mean, just think of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. What if both of those guys stayed on the field, right? All season? I promise you, we'd have at least gotten 2 more wins, maybe more than that, And so, it's just so frustrating. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? But that's the NFL, right? I mean, that's part of it. It's just you got to stay healthy. I know it's interesting. I think Bryce Callahan and Nas Adderley are probably going to be walking, which is weird because I kind of would like Callahan to be there, but I do think Ja Taylor and I think DeAndre Leonard, Dean Leonard, could probably step in. So I think they do feel like they probably can go with those guys. I don't know. What are your thoughts on those other 2 folks that we've been discussing? Truth? Call you the Truth.
Dean Leonard?
Yeah. Truth.
You're talking about Bryce Callahan?
Yeah, Bryce Callahan, Nas, Dean, maybe some of those guys stepping up, taking some of those roles.
Yeah. First, I would think that, our pass defense was pretty strong last year. So I'm not gonna, be too concerned about that. Going in next year, I expect us to be pretty solid there also. Bryce Callahan, I thought he was big for us. Depth piece. Depth is so very important. Stepping in when he had to. Michael Davis, obviously, as well. He's not a free agent though. Now we're gonna have to see if Jasir Taylor and Dean Leonard can actually, be real consistent contributors, and we're gonna bank on that. But every year there's guys that are gonna have to step up, and we're gonna be relying on them. I could probably see Nasir Adderley leaving. I don't think he was, he appreciate all he did for us, but we're probably looking to improve there. Alohi Gilman was pretty good too, but again, that might be a hole for us. I mean, it is a hole for us right now. And Bryce Callahan, we might let him walk as a casualty. And I could see both of them leaving also.
Go ahead, James.
Going to JT Woods, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts on him.
Bring him up too,
No way, we're in the same minds here.
Exactly.
It's funny because I went back to his highlights. And once again, highlights are one thing. I like to see the lowlights of a player though too. I mean, I'd really have to dig into his games that he's played to see where the lowlights are. But I mean, that guy's a ball hawk and he's got a lot of speed. And I know there was kind of shifting him around a lot in the defense, even to put him, I think, at a cornerback position there for a little while too. What do you think? Do you feel that JT Woods, I mean, having Alohi Gilman is probably the one, and then JT Woods is the two. Maybe there'll be a flip-flopping at some point during the season where they'll put JT Woods in that position. But the way I view JT Woods, he could be a very good ball hawk for us. Now, tackling is critical to his position if he's going to play deep safety. He's the guy, he's the last stand pretty much at that point.
Well, yeah, and his tackling was so bad last year.
It was bad tackling. Yes.
Big knock against him. Go ahead.
So, truth. We want to hear a little bit on that.
Let's hear truth.
What do you think on that? Give us the truth.
Truth.
Well, I mean, I think that he definitely will benefit from Derwin James's presence. Derwin James is going to be doing a lot, so he'll be doing a little bit less. But JT Woods to me is another unproven guy. And, you can't really put too much hope on players like that, although you would love for them to, show up big time, be huge contributors. It goes back to our general manager, Tom Telesco, how well he's able to draft and pick these depth players to, come step up when their time comes. So it's another uncertain point in our team, but I think, he was drafted third round, so he's got to have some talent, and tackling is hopefully something that can be improved upon with weightlifting, gaining weight, maybe coaching, just getting older, getting more mature. And I think that he can, hopefully step in and take that role. I mean, this past year, our free safety wasn't that big of wasn't a very big star on our team or anything like that. So maybe he doesn't have the biggest shoes to fill, but if he can exceed expectations, that could take us to new heights. So we're going to, I think that, he might be our starting free safety next year, unless we bring someone else in. So got to hope for the best right there. But again, it's uncertain for sure.
Yeah. Good point. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, and just adding a guy in the backfield, in my opinion, with a lot more speed helps us out a lot too. Like in some way or another, I look at JT Woods kind of like Michael Davis when he initially came in. Guy, just good solid length, good speed, but just had a hard time covering the deep ball. And Michael Davis, in my opinion, I think saved our season. In my opinion, J.C. Jackson went down. I mean, he really made sure that defense was solidified. I mean, you could say same thing about Jamari Salyer too on the left tackle for us too. Saved our season too.
Definitely.
Very, very good. So I'm excited to see what JT Woods is. I guess I want to ask as a question to everybody here, gun to head, if you only had to choose 2 free agents to sign, who do you sign?
Can you bring up the list again?
The whole list?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of good ones on here.
Man, I'd say, oof.
Yeah,
I want to hear your thoughts.
Me, honestly, you guys might not like it, but if we lost all of them, I think that we can, build it back and be all right. But one, I would probably take Braden Fehoko just because we're so weak there. And 2, maybe let me get it's either between Kyle Van Noy or Drew Tranquil, but I'd have to give it to Drew Tranquil just because I think he did so much for us. If we let go of Kenneth Murray when the time comes, I think Drew Tranquil was like our second leading tackler or something this season. I think he played himself into a reward. So I'd probably take Tranquil and Braden Fehoko.
Yeah, I think I would have Fehoko and probably Morgan Fox. I know that sounds weird, but our defensive line needs to be more stout, period. We just were bad, and every team knew they could just run up the gut and we couldn't stop it. Right. So
huge problem.
Kyle, what's your thoughts?
Kicker the Dicker, man. We need him. We need him for sure. And Christian Covington, I'd say. Yeah.
Covington. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's kind of who I feel like right now. So
Covington's good, man. He's not bad.
Yeah.
He's getting a little older, but yeah, I think he makes sense too.
I would probably go with Drew Tranquil just for consistency. He stepped up as a leader for us. He actually took over the play calling which elevated our defense. Having him doing the calls versus my boy Derwin James. I mean, you probably could get better in the draft at the right tackle, but I want to have consistency with Trey Pipkins. How many times have we gone through right tackles on this team?
And we need depth too, guys, right? We need somebody that can step in if somebody falls down, right? You get banged up. Because that was Storm Norton, guys. And we're like, ooh, okay.
Get him out.
Get rid of that ponytail first and we'll talk later, I mean, come on now.
But
ponytail and all that. Woo.
How much do you think we would have to pay Pipkins to come back? You think that it would be minimal, or do you think he might, maybe someone else needs the right tackle too?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Based upon, I think PFF, they chatted a little bit about it, and I mean, there was a chance that it was somewhere around a $7 million range. Now, I don't know if that's first season. My opinion of way I think the Chargers should structure it is like a 2-year. Even to say he was like a 3rd round pick, I believe he was initially. Because I remember when he got drafted, he wasn't even paying attention to the draft. He was driving somewhere, and he got a call from Tom Telesco. Out of the blue, he's like, wow, I didn't think I was going to get drafted this early. And Tom Telesco likes to pick dudes that shouldn't get drafted at that point.
Yeah.
Being way too early on pulling the trigger, but hey, they thought it was a system fit. But Trey Pipkins, like, my opinion, I would look at it like as a 2-year, $10 million type thing. Say you got a $4 million, $5 million type of like signing bonus to it. And, you start breaking that down. It's not really too crazy at all. And maybe make that as like a 2-year with a 1-year player option or team option for the 2nd year kind of thing. Just to kind of keep it as a prove it. We need to keep seeing you progress. And my opinion, you could go to the right tackle. I mean, I think he might get, if you're going to draft, if we kind of want to transition to some draft talk or whatnot. I think Big Thanos, the right tackle, or the tackle from Ohio State. I always call him Big Thanos because I think that's his nickname. But he's an absolute stud. And I mean, if you had a 360-pound, 6'8" right tackle, that would be a pretty big upgrade for us.
Yeah, and you're protecting your crown jewels. That's I see a lot of you guys talking about trading Williams, trading Allen, trade Bosa. Look, again, part of the reason why we're having this conversation is these are tough decisions that the team has to make, right? We're 20 million over the cap already. And you see this whole list of people that that are not signed for us this next season, right? Yeah. So, I guess it brings up a good question though. And maybe we should talk about our final topic that we wanted to talk about, this other guy. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. The Georgia one.
Hey, before we go in though, actually, I would say maybe we should keep Fehoko because he actually gave us a message. We actually, because my birthday was last week, so the Bolt Bags actually has hooked me up with something. So I wanted to share this with everybody here. So Brandon Fehoko, he actually watches our show. So check this out.
Oh, sick.
All right, hang on a sec.
And
Bolt Bros Podcast. What is going on? Braden Fehoko here, nose tackle for your LA Chargers. And the Bolt Babes just want to give you thanks and just props for having a great, amazing podcast, and for all you do for the Bolt family, for the Chargers players, for everybody involved with the Chargers. They want to thank you for putting out great content, pushing out great agenda, just being positive all the time. We don't come across good fans like you guys enough, and we're always appreciative of what you guys do for us, especially as players. Thank you for supporting us. We hope to have a great offseason and carry on to the regular season. Let's have a great 2023. Bolts up.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. That is so sick.
I don't know why it was all weird looking like that, though, to be honest. It got all stretched.
Boxy.
Hey, they say the camera adds like a couple pounds here, but that was like that was a whole nother Fehoko there.
It was like odd, like looking up his. Like, okay, what's going on there? That's strange.
Well, it's because he's taller than us. We short.
Of course.
But yeah, no. So you know what? Because of that, we got to keep Fehoko for sure.
We do too.
Another thing.
Thanks to Bolt Babes too, man. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. That was really, really cool to see that. So thank you. Thank you. And happy birthday, Kyle, once again.
What are we going to say, Truth? What you got, Truth?
Well, happy birthday, man. But, another thing with Braden Fajoko is that he comes from a family of, football players, and his brothers probably push him to his whole family probably pushes him to, reach higher heights. And I think he's someone that his mind is in the right place, and he can help this team and dedicate himself. So appreciate, his sacrifices for our team and all that. And I'd be willing to reward him if I was the GM.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, Telesco does not got an easy job this offseason.
No,
this is not like last season by any means. It's like last season we were spinning away, having a great time. Hey, man, we're going to the Super Bowl, man. Look at all these pickups here. And then now we got, oh, man, we're 20-something mil over the salary cap now. Now we got to figure that out. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah,
but, I mean, but here's the thing, though, too. What is the punishment for being over the cap? I mean, like, what are they really going to do about it? Like,
you get fined.
Fined.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still a money cost or a money thing.
Correct.
So they can still just pay that, and so what? Like,
I think it's a pretty steep fine. It's like for a certain amount of millions, it's a couple millions that you basically get fined. So like say for 20 million over, I want to say, I don't know why I have the figure of $5 million stuck in my head when I read an article about it, but it's like for X amount of millions, you get charged 5 million. So like, let's say if we kept it at 20 million over the salary cap, 5 million times 20, that's not a nice looking, not a nice looking bill there, by the way. Like,
and keep in mind how cheap the Chargers are known to be. So I don't think they'd be willing to really take much of a, fine like that.
Yeah, no doubt. Totally. Yeah, I'm 100% sure they will not take that type of money and spend money to something like that. So,
but another thing, going over the point where, like, we have all these massive contracts: Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, JC, Corey Linsley, maybe even. And, people are talking about cutting these players or trading a lot of them away. I think, this is the hole that Tom Telesco dug. These are great players, and we have to, I think, just ride this thing out until the wheels fall off. I think Tom Telesco is going to get one final year. If he fails, I think he will be gone after this coming year. And then we can reassess from there. And, I don't think we're really going to let go of these big time players, these big contracts, just because, again, this is what we chose. This is the direction we chose. So now we have to ride it out, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Tom Telesco does have a tough offseason. He's got to probably sit down with Joey Bosa, maybe Khalil Mack and Allen and Williams, say, hey, look, man, I know we paid you a bunch of money, but you need to do us a solid, right? You need to help us out here and make this work financially, right? I think that's a big, put on your big boy britches pants and have that conversation, right? And I think that's really something that needs to happen. But to your point, Zach, I think you're exactly right. They are. I'm sure they had a plan set up once they sign these players. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's just sign everybody and then figure it out. So James, maybe we should go to our final actual topic, and then we could go to everyone's questions. And guys, throw your questions out there as well. I know we wanted to talk about our new quality control coach for the Chargers from Georgia. This is kind of an interesting topic. I didn't know much about this, but it's really interesting to discuss because I do think it kind of shows you. Okay, yeah, we always pick on the head coach and the offensive coordinator and whoever else, but there's a lot of coaches on this team that are doing a lot of different things. And so this is kind of an interesting pickup. So, James, you want to talk a little bit about this one right here? Robert Muschamp.
Yeah, so this one kind of came a little bit later on in the week. I think it was Thursday or Friday, so the 16th, I believe it was. So basically, Chargers hired Georgia coach. Well, it's actually Robert Muschamp. It's Will Muschamp's nephew, who basically is a part of the defensive side of things for Georgia, to now be the quality control coach for the Chargers. It's an interesting thing about this kind of pickup because we're pulling guys from college now. I mean, this guy has not been in the NFL before. He came from Georgia, Georgia's won a lot of national championships of recent. They've come out with a lot of really good players. So the interesting thing about that position is, well, what does a quality coach do? I mean, in the NFL, basically, It's a member of the coaching staff of a gridiron football team. I think it's so funny when they say that. Gridiron.
I know, right? I know. You're like, oh, okay. Well,
whose primary job is preparing the team for a game,
Yep.
beginning sometimes 2 to 3 weeks before the actual game. And then their primary duties include preparing the game by analyzing game film for statistical analysis. So he's the guy that preps the team. So like after say week 1 or whatnot, he already is starting to work on like week 4, week 3 games. So once they get done with the game, they can say, all right, team, great win or whatnot. Here's some things we're going to be looking at for the next game. Prepared, ready to go on the plane for them so they could watch it and start preparing. You know, Justin Herbert's is jumping all over this guy all the time.
Yeah.
And you know that Brandon Staley is one of those guys that likes looking at analytics, figuring things out. And maybe this guy's just got a good, solid mind for us to be able to make those right choices. Now, once again, I would be interested to hear your point on that, Truther. I'll call you the truth again, I guess. But, you know, Brandon Staley, I liked 4th and Staley. I liked the idea of going for it on 4th down. And I think we really lost the playoff game because he did not take chances at all at a time when you could have made some really, really good choices instead of going for 2 field goals where you're only 3 yards away from getting a touchdown, where you could have gone for a touchdown, but didn't. And guess what? We lost. So I'm a big fan of that. And bringing a guy like this who could be maybe an analytical guy, really looking at everything and every little detail of every player on the line and players in their and how they kind of work on the field and where we could maybe find a little bit of a secret to beating somebody. But I'm going to ask you, like, what is your thoughts on Brandon Staley and how his analytical mind works? And are you a big fan of 4th and Staley?
Yeah, I am actually a pretty big fan of Brandon Staley just because you can see how this past season, how we have been winning the close games. And that's totally new for us. You know, in the past, we're always the team that, you know, we're close, but we just don't win those close games. And Brandon Staley, you know, I think he's genuine. I think that he is a good leader of men, you know, whatever people may disagree with that. But it's working. We went 10-7 with a pretty not complete team. No run game, pretty much 30th ranked rush game, 28th in the rush defense. So those are big things to overcome. And you know, Justin Herbert, 5 game-winning drives last season. Big time. Obviously, we're relying so much on Herbert, but we're making it work. And I think if we can improve on these things, I think we can get even better, you know, be a consistent playoff team. So I like Brandon Staley. Whatever he's doing, it seems to be working. You know, sometimes it will bite us in the ass, you know. But, you know, you live by the sword, die by the sword. And right now it seems like it has been working because honestly, 10-7, I think was better than we should have gone. You know, if we didn't have Justin Herbert or, you know, a more mediocre quarterback, I think we weren't very complete of a team. So,
Yep. Well, yeah, and I think this Robert Sumo question's pretty good, or Somo, I should say. Number 1 priority, re-sign defense and offense. I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot we could discuss there, but I honestly think that our offense is going to be pretty solid next year with Kellen Moore, right? I think, you know, if you looked at Joe Lombardi, and I know there's another question about Joe Lombardi being an offensive coordinator for Denver or the Chiefs, which would be hilarious. But I think bottom line, our offense is going to be solid. We already know what our defense is going to be, right? It's the same thing, right? So I think I'm kind of excited to see Kellen Moore. So I don't know. How do you guys want to answer this question for Robert as well, too? What's your guys' thoughts?
You know, we kind of chatted, I think, a little bit about our free agents already. And I don't think it's going to be really one side or the other. It's just about what is the fit. And to be honest, what can we actually pay this guy?
Yeah.
Right. You know, I mean, Drew Tranquill is one of those guys that I go back to the Kaiser White contract last year to the Eagles. I mean, that was pennies we walked away to not have Kaiser White. I mean, I mean, I can see a Chargers truther on your face, man. You're like, that was one of the dumbest moves, in my opinion.
Still foresee that, but yeah, I mean, he was good, and that's a position that we're kind of weak at. So
yeah, and so you're just weakening yourself even further. And so it's like if you get rid of Drew Tranquill, is a middle linebacker going to have a similar base type contract? Is he going to be only a couple $1 million? You know, I've heard some people talk about that it's going to be potentially about $3 to $4 million a season to be able to sign Drew Tranquil. You don't
Right.
think that's a lot of money, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a lot of
adds up,
money.
though. When you're already 20 million over the cap, that's a problem.
Right.
Exactly.
So
And that's where renegotiation of contracts are to come around if there's going to be a cut. We've talked a lot about, even if you've been keeping up on some of our videos, of if we trade off players, what can we get from that? Like, my opinion of it is that I think there will be a trade somewhere in this team. There's a lot of teams out there with a lot of salary cap. The Bears are one, for instance. They need a lot of players over there. They have over $100 million to spend this season. I mean, the Falcons are another team out there too.
Yep.
Got a lot of money too.
Yep.
I mean, you know, what if, and these are all what if situations, you know, what if we trade off Joey Bosa and they pick up the salary from him? What if they trade off Keenan Allen and then they pick up the salary from him? What if we get second round picks or even a back end first or whatnot? What does that do for us? Well, it allows us to be able to inject a lot more youth on our team. We start filling up a lot more gaps with draft based players. I mean, we could go that direction. And I mean, who knows? I mean, it'll probably start heating up quite a bit after the combine, because that's when a lot of GMs, coaches, they start chatting with everybody and they start talking with other teams. Possibilities come from around that point.
Yep,
So,
sure.
and they start seeing the new talent coming in this draft class. So,
what do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of our priorities should be right in the trenches, you know, D-line, offensive line, you know, and end of story, you know, like, I mean, because the truth is, has hit it on the head, is that, like, look, I mean, if we're going to actually be able to compete in this league, we do have to have our run game established, and that, you know, but that works offensively and defensively in the trenches. So, like, you know, we get the that defensive tackle, someone in there to kind of fill up those gaps, or we need those, you know, someone on the right side, or even because we have to figure out about Filer too. I'm pretty sure Filer's going to be gone, so like a guard situation could be a position of need for us as well. So, I mean, yeah, if we get that situated, then we should be able to get this thing going. And I believe Kellen Moore is like pretty positive on the run game. Yeah, look what he did with Pollard as opposed
50-50.
to you know, so it was good.
Yeah, and I think Fitness brought up a good point here too, right? You know, you do need a good tight end, running back, or O line. I do think we have plenty of running backs. I don't think we need more running backs at all. I mean, we have too many already. Having said that, we do need a tight end, right? And Everett's probably going to get cut. He's probably an easy cut for us, which is kind of sad. Because he will stay $7 million with him, and I think $7 million with Filer too. Correct? If we cut both of them, I think that's the number. So that's $14 million that we would, you know, in theory, you know, lose.
Realistically, all we need to do at that point then too is also restructure. We could try to either Bosa or Keenan Allen's contract, and then we're set at that point. Then we're under. But
which is good. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So again, I guess to the point of this discussion, it'll all boil down to the restructuring. But I think Everett and Filer are going to be gone for sure. That's at least my opinion. And then I do think from there, a couple of restructures would be a good thing. I mean, whether Bosa, Mac, you know, or those guys want to do that, though, I mean, it's people chasing that money. You know what I mean? It's like, but you know, we still got to pay Justin Herbert, and people are talking $50 million for that guy a year. Crazy money, guys. Crazy money.
I wanted to add in there. I kind of disagree with maybe a couple of things, but
go for it. Hey, no, bring the heat.
Us brothers, we don't agree on everything, so it's all good. All good.
Well, first of all, I think we need a new running back. That's another very big part of, you know, my whole platform or whatever, I guess. You know, Eckler is a great player. Kelly's was pretty good, but I think we're missing that bell cow, that workhorse, like, you know, more close to like a 6 foot, 210, 220 type, a Melvin Gordon type. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to open that can of worms, but that type of prototypical size, you know, strong running back to make up for weak blocking whenever our offensive line isn't doing that well. I think that is actually very high priority, and I could see us drafting high running back. I think, again, once you start getting the run game and the rush defense going, then everything else, I think, will start thriving. For example, Joey Bosa, if we can, start getting D linemen that can, take more of the double teams, I think Joey Bosa is going to come back to his old self, getting, more sacks, more, and like be happier, better leader, better teammate, not smashing his helmet. And because those type of frustrations comes from, I think, being, maybe asked to do too much, or, too much pressure on him, and, just, not being all in, not being happy. So again, I think, running back, offensive line, D tackle again is super critical for us.
Yeah.
And again, Gerald Everett, I could maybe see him coming back also, just because when he ran the ball, he really hit hard and sacrificed his body for us, and he laid the boom. He wasn't just going down to collect his money. He was really trying to help us win. And in that Jaguars game, he was the leading receiver. And I think that type of effort deserves to get rewarded. Of course, it comes down to money. Maybe he will get cut just because of the money, but those are the type of players I like to see on our team, guys that are physical, strong hitters, and willing to impose their will on another team. So
yeah. And I was going to bring that up on your Twitter. You had that rant about Bijan Robinson, and it's funny because I think it was Bucky Brooks even brought up that he's going to be our pick at 21, and so these video series that we've been doing talking about hypothetical situations. What if we trade these guys off? What can we get for them? What can draft capital could that bring for us? Well, how that could help us on salary cap. I mean, I've even talked a little bit about like sell high at the right time for a player. I mean, when a player has done very, very well, it's a time to sell high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that's a video we're going to be making about Austin Eckler, and thinking, well, what if you trade off Austin Eckler? 2 phenomenal seasons, touchdown machine, pass catching, but he's not a pure back. He's a very like hybrid base back. So what if you decide to get a Bijan Robinson? Now you got Spiller too. You got Kelly. That's a 3-headed monster, in my opinion. And I mean, if Bijan could be the guy that we think he's going to be, I mean, this guy could be, and I've even heard people say he's a generational based talent. I mean, at 21, that seems a little high, but that's a little high to say something like that. But when I read that article, I was like, generational generally is top 5, like a LaDainian Tomlinson level of where you're trying to go with, which, hey, I'd love to have LaDainian back. Yeah. But does that really help out this team? And I mean, it probably will stabilize things. But once again, going to Kyle's point, the line is where everything's created, and you need to have guys that could push and open up lanes for us. And Austin Eckler only had 2 explosive big plays on the ground, just running the ball. Browns, and I think it was a 70-something yard touchdown that he ended up getting. I wanted to say that might have been against the Broncos or the Colts or something like that.
Maybe. Or
I don't know. It was late in the season. Yeah, it was late in the season. Broncos. But either way, we need a guy who could be a little bit more of a grinder for us on the line, and that's where. And I totally get where your idea is at with Bijan Robinson. But that's where the draft will tell us the truth.
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, guys. I think the whole running back conversation is pretty moot when it comes to the NFL nowadays. Nobody cares about running backs, and
I care.
They care about passing though. That's all they talk about. Wide receivers are getting paid the money, right? And so, and it's because they're the ones that are dictating explosive plays. And you could argue, well, running backs matter. Yes, they do. But do they really matter that much? And with Brandon Staley, he doesn't seem to care too much about that, in my opinion. Right. So, whether we like it or not, that's our coaching staff, right? So,
one option.
I think a tight end's a better choice than a running back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, one option though that I can see though as well is that, like, obviously our offensive play calls were just terrible for the run game. I feel like Austin, So Austin Eckler might actually be better off in the Kellen Moore system now. So, like, 100%. Obviously, we're all judging Austin Eckler based off of Joe Lombardi's offensive play calling. and using him as what I call a wide back, not a running back, you know?
Yeah.
So that is the only thought process that I have with this whole thing is that, like, well, because I mean, truth is like, you know, Austin Eckler is like pound for pound one of the strongest running backs in his. Yeah, he's so freaking he's swole, man.
Very strong.
And you know who else is swole is our freaking fullback, freaking Xander Horvath.
Yeah,
Dude,
those guns.
Have you seen his guns?
Dude, that guy's a giant. He's a giant.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't put him on defense too as a linebacker as well, man.
He was a linebacker.
I was in high school.
Yeah, no, why not? Just go flip back and forth, man. Just like, you know, just switch sides, you know? Yeah.
Well, he played a lot of special teams too.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, too? Because my thought is too. Also, you could use Horvath as more of a power back as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, look at Tyler Algier. That over at the the Falcons, right? I wanted the Chargers to draft Tyler Algier. They could what did they get him in the 4th round or maybe even the 5th round?
Yeah,
guys, he rushed for 1,000 yards last year, and I knew he would be amazing. So, I guess my thought is I think Horvath could be that power back also. If you just put him in that role.
Well, I mean, I think Horvath could be a lead fullback like the 49ers have with Juszczyk, who, makes the Pro Bowl, seems like every single year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's yet to be seen. But for me, in terms of running back, I think we have ignored this position for way too long. Since letting go of Melvin Gordon, we went with the cheaper option, Austin Eckler, who is a great player again. But again, we've kind of ignored that running back position, drafting 4th, 5th, 6th rounders, that haven't really contributed that much, leaving most of the pressure to be on Austin Eckler. He's, been the bell cow, the past few years, and he's been taking lots of hits, and he's a smaller guy. And if we went running back 1st round, 2nd round, Austin Eckler to me would be the guy that would benefit the most because he's going to be fresh. He's not going to, be getting his head hit so much. And I think that's it. Running back is maybe the position that takes the most hits. So it only makes sense that you have more guys to spread the load over it, and I think Bijan Robinson is the best running back in the class. He reminds me of Saquon Barkley. We'll see what happens, but to me, I really don't think he's going to last till 21, which makes us have to look for another running back. I could see us going in the 2nd round or something, but to me, I think it's very critical that we take the load off Austin Eckler. We do have Kelly, but he didn't even get 300 yards last season, and Spiller didn't really do anything. So I just think it's too risky, in my opinion, to go into next season banking on all these unproven guys. Obviously, a rookie's unproven, but higher round picks can you could rely on them a little bit more. So I think if we go in again with the same running backs, it's going to be more of the same, and it's not good enough in my opinion.
Yeah. So
it's going to be an interesting.
Hold on just a second, James, real quick. I know we want to talk a little about Joey. I know T1000 Whisper. Just kind of going through some questions. He's happy. I just think he had a crappy season. He knows he had a crappy season, and he's frustrated he had a crappy season. He's getting paid $30 million a year. He played 4 games, guys. That's ridiculous money for 4 games. Yeah, But Spiller, to your point, is the youngest. He was the youngest player drafted last season. He was only 19 years old, right? And so we don't even know what he is, right? So my thought back on Spiller is he could have a breakout season next year too. Even if we traded Eckler away, we could have an awesome season with Spiller. Spiller was really bad at blocking when it was in pass coverage. So that's kind of like the big knock against him. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, again, I think we could have a long conversation about this. It'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. But I kind of like your thought though, James. I know you're gonna do a longer video, so I don't want to go too deep into the whole Eckler conversation, but that could free up some cap space, and some interesting things could come from that if we were to trade him off. I mean, it'd be super controversial. People would be pissed.
Yeah,
pissed. People will be pissed.
I don't think anybody's going to be happy with if whatever move happens. Keenan Allen moving on, or Joey Bosa, or Eckler, or Mack, or anybody. Nobody's going to be happy about it.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
But Truther, I know you're bringing up the. Hey, I got something here to talk.
Yeah.
I just want to add one thing is that I just think it's so important for us to take some of the load off of Justin Herbert just because, as great as this guy is, he is a human being. He's a young kid, and he threw it for last season. He had the 4th most passing attempts in NFL history. And, it's just like nobody, there's no way he can be happy with that, or his family watching that is like, you got to go to a better team or something, that's going to surround you with more talent. So you don't have to just carry the entire franchise on his back. So that's another reason why I think we need a stud running back.
So I'll give one last thought on that, and then I'll pass you guys. The good thing about Kellen Moore on the offensive side of the ball, he is all about a system, right? It was 50-50, run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. We're going to see the same. We're going to see the same. Thank God.
Hopefully.
But the argument needs to be, do we have a running game or holes for this offensive line for these running backs to run through, right?
Right.
But one thing that was cool about Kellen Moore, too, he was very good at running and passing out of the same formations, meaning the defense did not know what they were going to do. Lombardi, you knew every time it was this formation, it was a running play. This formation, it's a running play.
Yeah.
And so, he was not creative. Kellen Moore will be more creative. So I think that will definitely take a lot of pressure off of Justin Herbert, which, thank God, you're exactly right. He does not need to be throwing the ball as many times as he has been. So,
yeah. And I was going to just bring up one last point about the running back position. And we go back to, if we did draft another running back this draft, it'd be 4 years in a row now. We cannot figure it out. We cannot figure it out. And that's crazy to think about. Now, Austin Eckler was an undrafted guy. And I mean, I remember very distinctly in his 4th preseason game of him showing up and being, I think he was wearing number 1, and he just balled out. And I was thinking, well, he's only going up against 4th and 5th stringer guys that a lot of these dudes aren't even going to make the team or anything like that. But look at where he's at now. I was just going to bring up as an example that, yes, Bijan Robinson could be one of those guys that you could have on your team for 10 plus years. Running backs' lives are generally ending at 30, pretty much. I'm going to just give an example. Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, 7th round, 4.37 speed. I mean, I'll take that all day. If you could find a guy like that, just based upon speed alone, speed kills, guys. And that's what the whole Dolphins system was based upon, speed.
100%.
Purely speed.
Yep.
And, they had a very explosive offense. Not super balanced, in my opinion, though. Very pass heavy because they did have 2 of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. But I'm just saying we could even look at something later in the rounds too. But Bijan Robinson would be an interesting pick if they ended up getting him at 21, if it even does get to that point. Mind you, the combine changes people's draft
100%.
selection position, and so it could be a completely different story after the combine of where he can get picked up at.
And Whisperer brings up a good point. Pacheco's a benefit of the system. And I think he's exactly right. Now, again, that's kind of my point going back to Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore will create a good system. See, I don't think we've drafted very badly in running back positions. I think our running game has been shit. It's just been bad. Our offensive line has not moved the pocket well. They haven't done things correctly. So, you can kind of blame the running back, but I also think the running game was bad, right? Like Lombardi did the same things over and over again. It was halfback dive right, halfback dive left. And the RPO was nowhere to be seen because nobody thought Herbert would ever run the ball with his rib injury for sure last season. So they're like, okay, RPO's out. And so I think bottom line, it was just a bad overall run game. And I still don't know that we have the best running. I still think we have more potential with just the running backs we have. I guess that's my point. Or we
me?
No, Kyle, the other Bolt Pro.
I didn't have. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, one thing I just wanted to say on Isaiah Pacheco is just the type of player that he is. Again, physical, hitting, nasty, mean. I think we can use that attitude, that type of play at pretty much every single position. Just a guy that's really just going to hurt the other opponent, or just make him, maybe intimidate them a little bit. And I mean, I think that's what makes Pacheco so good. Obviously, he's fast, but he's nasty.
Yeah, he hits. Yeah, it's crazy to think a guy like that in the 7th round happened to land in their lap. Like, what was the knock on that guy? I mean,
Size.
It's crazy.
Small.
He's small, but
small guy.
That guy was physical, man. He hits the hole really well, sees the holes really well, hits that A-hole real well.
That A-hole.
That's right. A-holes and B-holes, baby.
A-holes.
A-holes and B-holes, dude.
So, but DZ, this is a good point, right? And I think you're exactly right. In my opinion, your first pick has to be best available player. Yeah. Who can start on your team day one in the NFL season at your number one pick, right? That's, in my opinion, that's what it needs to be. Now, so then at that point, it just boils down to who's available at that point, right? Unless you want to trade up, you really, are falling in love with somebody that's higher up, right? But that's my take. So maybe we should go through the list on this and get everyone else's thoughts on that, right? On first picks, because we could talk about tight end, wide receiver, whatever, but I think it's just take the best available player. Who could start day one? I mean, Zion Johnson.
Yep.
I didn't even think for a second we were going to get a guard, but he was a stud. And, so what's everyone's thoughts on that? Maybe we'll ask our guests truth first, and then we'll go through.
Well, I think it's probably a mixture of the two, need and best player. Like if it was, let's say, for example, cornerback. I mean, maybe we could use a cornerback first round, but to me, you'd have to look at our needs. I think offensive line, defensive line, running back, and I guess receiver, tight end, and all that stuff. So it's a balance between the two. Which player is going to help us win games? Which player, if you could knock out a need with the best player, that's ideal. But to me, again, I'm looking at running back, offensive line, defensive line. 3 years in a row, offensive line. I would not be upset at that. One player that I really like, I know nobody really agrees with me, is guard from Florida, O'Cyrus Torrence. He's a freaking giant dude. Yeah. Best run blocker in the game or in the draft. I think he's like
really
340 or something like that. Just plug him right in and just let him move that offensive line. I would love to see that. So, and if the best player happens to be a safety or maybe a lesser of a need, I wouldn't be mad. You're never going to be mad at, like, for example, when we drafted Derwin James, I don't think safety was the biggest need at that time, but he was a great player that fell to us. And, he's been great for us for all these years. So it's a balance to me.
Yeah. James Kyle.
I could jump on this one. So the thing I'm looking at is, if, say, for instance, we're not getting Kyle Van Noy back, say, for instance, we don't get Drew Tranquill back, there's a massive hole at that position of rushing the quarterback and protecting the pass, or, defending the pass, I should say. I've been a big fan of this guy for a while, and it seems like it's getting kind of close to where it could get up to 21. I think he probably, after the combine, will probably go possibly top 10, top 15. But Trenton Simpson from Clemson, like, I'm really high on that dude. Like, if you've watched any of his footage, he is just a fast dude. 4.37 kind of speed, kind of a hybrid end linebacker kind of guy. Defends the pass extremely well. Even just looking at past 2 seasons, he's only allowed 353 yards on 66 targets, 5.3 yards per target past 2 seasons. So he is a very coverage versatile kind of guy. He's a linebacker number 1 guy. PFF graded him almost at about a 70, if you want to look at PFF. But the guy is an absolute phenomenal athlete all around. Just fast guy. Reminds me a lot of the linebacker from Cowboys. They got him 2 years ago. Why is my brain not remembering? I don't know why, but either way,
sorry.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
We're a Chargers channel. We don't care about the
I know
Cowboys.
exactly.
Yeah.
Who cares about those guys?
Yeah.
But bottom line, he's just a fast guy. Brings speed to this defense. Brings kind of a versatile kind of piece. Allows Derwin James, which they've talked a little bit about trying to push him down a little bit more to the line, be a little bit more of a pass rusher, because that guy's an absolute stud when he's on the line, and he finds ways to be able to get to the quarterbacks. So my opinion, I really just feel like he could be a great juice added to this whole defense all around. So I think it would be a phenomenal pick.
Okay, so James, what do you get?
Micah Parsons. He reminds me of Micah Parsons. That's who it is.
So James asked the question. So should you get the best available player, or are you picking a position?
I'm picking a position of need. I'm picking a position of need at that point. If he falls at 21, take him. Take him for sure.
One thing, I think we can all agree that we have a lot of needs. So
a ton of needs. A ton of needs.
Definitely.
So I don't know where we could really go. Like, even to say with you, Chargers Truther, if he chose him as an offensive guard, now that could put Sawyer on the right tackle too for us. Yeah. So we already got that guy there. We would really solidify the middle of our line, having one of the best centers in the league with Zion Johnson, and then putting in Torrance on the left guard. I mean, that really just puts a lot of ability to be able to push the ball around, and have players that we already have on the team get shifted around, and Trey Pipkins would be gone at that point. So,
and I think that's just how you can like kind of reshape this team into like a more balanced, that's one big way to like reshape it into like pass and rush offense balance,
Right. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. And Kyle, what do you think? I know we all kind of went through it as well too. Best available or pick for need?
I mean, really, realistically, best available is going to be the definitely what we need to do, the recipe for sure. And like I kind of like was looking around, and I kind of did a couple mock drafts or whatever like that, and there's a lot of best available for positions at that 21 pick that we could actually fall on. Like there's potentially a good outside linebacker, Nolan Smith. I believe it's from Georgia, right? And I know some people in the chat were saying that there's a huge drop off of edge rushers like after the first round. Like it's like, really, really good, a couple of them, and then they just they're just mediocre,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that could be a big position of need for us if something happens with Joey Bosa, and of course, like you were saying, if Kyle Van Noy or goes away, we're going to be in a really tight pickle. So, I really feel like I think we all understand like Tom Telesco's think what he does is best available. Bottom line. I mean, that's why he picked Derwin James. It wasn't necessarily a position of need. It was more so he was the best person available at our draft position at that point.
Yeah.
But if I was going to pick a player at this point, I would definitely have to go tight end just because it helps. Just because you guys were talking about the shuffling around of players as well, I feel like a tight end would help us a lot. And hopefully Michael Mayer would be available at that point because I think he's the best available tight end in this current draft class. Like before anything comes out, of course, So that would be amazing to me if we can actually get a tight end, and if it was the best possible tight end in this class.
Yeah. Well, I think it will boil down to these picks will definitely boil down to what happens in free agency, right?
Yes.
Okay. Who gets re-signed, who gets cut.
Yep.
I think then at this point, we'll have at least an idea. We can make more of an educated guess of what's actually going to happen at that point. Because right now I think we're just kind of grasping at straws at this point, but it's a fun thing to discuss. So maybe what we should do is wrap up here a little bit. I don't see any more questions coming in, guys. If you have any questions, we can wrap up and go from there. So why don't we let the Truth have first crack at final thoughts, and then we can wrap up the video.
Well, I think, I feel like I've been harping on it all morning. Get the dang rush game going, get the dang rush defense going, get the big guys, the physical guys, get the guys that are going to, be hitters, physical, aggressive, because I feel like our team is a little, have a lot of nice guys. We're like a nice, friendly team, and, that's all good. I like that. But I want to be like the 49ers who are going to, you get off the bus and you're a little scared, I want to be a scary team. So a team, that requires a team that's going to run the ball down your throat and a team that's going to stop the run and force you to throw it, So again, O-line, D-line, inside linebacker, running back, for me is the main areas of need. But again, I could totally see, a tight end or a receiver or something like that. We need help everywhere. But for me, it's all about the rush game, all about the rush defense right now, at least priority.
Yeah.
I get it.
We got but Fitness just said here, someone with a criminal record. Well, I guess JC Jackson. JC Jackson's got a criminal record now, so
oh man,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give some of my thoughts, and then we can continue wrapping up. I would say this, man. I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens in free agency. That's why we brought this up, right? I think there's going to be a lot of players are not coming back next season because it's just money, right? Money's going to be an issue. I think we're going to see a lot of younger players out there, and we're going to have to go younger as well this next season as well, specifically with the dollars that are being thrown around. I mean, so it's going to be tough. We're going to be doing a lot of videos, a lot of content about who is here, who's gone, and all the above. It'll be interesting to see. So my other thought, though, I'm excited to see. I truly believe our biggest problem last season was our offense and the way that we played calls. I like the name Dumbarty, right? Joe Dumbarty.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, man, he just was uninspired, right? The way that he managed the game, it was just about moving the sticks, and that doesn't work. That just doesn't work in the NFL. You have to be more inventive. You look at all the top offenses, they have movement deep, they have short, intermediate, all the above, right? And they confuse the defense. Dumbarty did not do that at all, right? And so I'm excited to see what Kellen Moore does. I think he's the final piece of this coaching staff puzzle, in my opinion. So now I do say this, though. The toughest job that we have is going to be Tom Telesco, because he is going to have to put on his big boy pants and make the numbers work, because he hasn't had to do that up to this point as a GM. But we still want to contend for a Super Bowl, and we're over the cap. All right, he's got to do his job. He's got to prove to, I think, the fans that he should still be our GM at this point. So that's my final thoughts.
Yep. I like it. Kyle?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, I actually feel like our biggest issue last year was defense above anything else. I mean, yeah, we it was everything. Every game was like way too close. And obviously, like, it still burns in my head that they scored. We were 27-0, guys. 27-0. All we needed was like one more defensive stop, and we couldn't do that at all. I mean, at the same side too, all we needed was to score again too, and we couldn't do that either, though. So,
run the ball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
we'll run the ball. Exactly
drain
right.
that clock.
Play
Drain
some
that
Marty
clock.
ball. Play some Marty ball, man. It's like
right. Yeah, and Eckler mentioned it too. Like, he was like, yeah, you know what? The mentality was all problem. It's like, oh, they scored. Oh, it's all right. We're 27. We're still have 27 points. Like, and then, oh, they scored another 14. Okay, it's all right. We're still ahead. We have 27 points. Like, that mentality needs to change, of course. Like, it's like, no, you scored. We're gonna score. Let's keep it going. But yeah, like, I guess my final thoughts though too is like, I'm really excited about our current coaches that we have now. Muschamp, being in there is going to be really good help for our team and like with the players' relationships and stuff. And Kellen Moore is going to elevate the offense already. I feel like for the most part, our offense is going to is in a lot of ways fixed already because of Kellen Moore, because Dumbarty is an absolute disaster. And to answer one of the questions in the chat, I feel like I would love to see Lombardi go to the Chiefs and ruin them first. Ruin them. Just completely ruin them. Yeah, that'd be great. And then when it comes to the free agency, man, like, Tom Telesco's got his work cut out for him on this stuff, and I do not envy him, but we need to focus on the trenches in order to make sure that we can continue to have a winning season. That's all my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my final thoughts is, with all these free agents and salary cap issues, I unfortunately think we only will probably sign 2 of those 21 players off of that list. We just don't have the money to do it. I don't think we're going to have the ability to do it. And that's why I think we have got to, I shouldn't say we have got to, but we will probably start to be young on defense side of things. That's why I looked at a lot about Trenton Simpson from Clemson, because I feel like you just add a lot of juice, a guy that's very fast, a guy that could really go out there and just make a little bit of a difference and potentially make a little bit of a nastiness to this defense. Not saying that Mac or Joey Bosa can't, but players are only good if they're available. And Joey Bosa, unfortunately, his money's sitting on the sideline.
Yep.
And that's a tough thing to look at. And it's one of the last San Diego Chargers on this team. And so I'm just looking at trying to find a way to get this team at a competing level, add some guys that are very fast, that could cover the ball, can get after the quarterback, and just add a little bit more nastiness to this team. And I really like the mentality of what you're having there, Chargers Truther, is that we do need to find a way to have a guy that could scare teams. I mean, if you think about it, Sean Merriman kind of was one of those guys. Yeah. Sean Merriman was a guy that would just hit people and knock people out. I think he took out Priest Holmes' career, and he's just an absolute stud, like a guy that, once again, I punched him. I punched Sean Merriman in the chest walking into the stadium for the I think it was the Chiefs game, I believe it was.
Chiefs game, yeah, it was. Yeah,
and I got stunned when he was there, and I was like, "Yo, Sean Merriman!" I punched him in his chest, and I was like, "Wow, he probably didn't feel that. That dude is a straight rock." But
it was more like a slap thing. You're like, "Hey,"
whatever. But it tripped me out. It tripped me out seeing him there. But anyways, bottom line, I just think that we're going to get very young on defense. I think offensively, it'll be interesting to see where we go with the right tackle, where we're going to lead with that and such too. So maybe those two guys might end up being Trey Pipkins. Who knows? I mean, I just don't want to go through these, Sam Tevi right tackles. I don't want to go through Storm Norton right tackles. I want to be able to have stability at that right tackle position. Say that again?
With backups, because you can't expect all five to stay healthy the whole season.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely need that too. And we'll see kind of where this whole draft goes. And I don't know. This is a big draft. This is a big draft. And going back to your point about Tom Telesco, that this might be his last year, I think it's the same thing that could be said about Brandon Staley. If this doesn't work out, there could be a lot of shifting on coaching in general. So either way, my thing is, I think we're going to go very young on defense, and this draft is going to be major for us this year and for the future too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, Tom Telesco got to start hitting on his late round picks, got to be more consistent with his draft picks. I think that's one thing that's been really holding us back, the lack of depth, like the Chris Rumph not really being able to step up in various positions. So might be time to move on from this GM, but, we'll give him one more season, and, we're hoping for the best for sure.
Yeah. And I do think with Brandon Staley, I think Brandon Staley's got a very, very good mind of players. I mean, it's great kind of work that he understands all these players. And I think we're starting to see a little bit better of late round situations. Jamari Sawyer being in the 5th round, that was an absolute steal. My opinion, I think Jasir Taylor could actually be a very, very big key point and player for us. That's a late round guy. Dean Leonard in training camp was looking awesome too. I think he just needed to turn his head a little bit more when he's running downfield. And that was his issue, as we saw in preseason. So there's a lot of guys that I think we are hitting, and it shows that there's some talent out there. And the Rams did have a lot of late round guys that did really work very, very well in his defense in 2020. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think it's awesome. You want to show the merch one more time, Kyle?
Yeah. You got the hat there. You can check out the link in the bio below. We got some other hats here though. Hey, may as well just we got that. Bam.
Oh yeah.
Bam.
Solid.
Wait. Bam. Bam.
Look at this guy.
Bam. Bam.
Hey, Kyle, you only got one head. Why do you have so many hats? What's the deal with that?
Well, hey man, there's many days of the week, baby.
Oh, that's good. So, who's gonna hit the button, right? Because hopefully this works.
Hopefully you don't want to all touch it.
Yeah,
right.
Well, wait, before you guys hang up, I'd like to say I really appreciate you guys having me. Love talking Chargers, and I'll be around.
Yeah. How do we find you as well? Like,
I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, trying to start that thing up. And I can give you my phone number too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll put your YouTube channel and Twitter handles in the descriptions on the video as well too, for sure. Make sure everyone has it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, man. It would be awesome to chat with you after the draft too. I think it'd be fun to be able to hear kind of your opinion of everything too. And I think we might be doing a live while the draft is going. So, and we might have other podcasters jump in there too. So it'll be pretty fun to be able to hear from you on that.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
sweet.
Definitely.
Glad to have you on, my friend.
Okay, who's hitting the button?
Cheers, y'all.
You, not me. I can't. I failed that job. So yeah.
Okay, I'll hit the button. I'll hit the button.
You guys.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you, dude.
See you guys.
Bolt Bros out. Let's go.